Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Asmogan and today we're going to be talking about the Black Templars. Now the Black Templars are by far my favorite, and I stand by this, my favorite goddamn chapter of Space Marines! Oh god, I love these guys so much. And quite literally I could go drone on about them for hours, but I'm going to try and keep it somewhat manageable length. So the first thing to talk about with the Black Templars is their who they're successors of, where their founding started. So the Black Templars are part of the first founding, which is when basically the Codex Astartes was implemented by the big Ultra Smurf himself, Guilliman, or Girlyman as I prefer to call him. He just, he sat his fat ass down on the throne, said he was in charge, and when Dorn came up and said, yo, guess who's supposed to be in that chair? It ain't you, bitch. Get out. Get your blue ass out of here and fuck off. You didn't even fight during the fucking Siege of Terror. Where the fuck were you? Oh, yeah, you were fucking off doing something else. And when I got to deal with the aftermath, and when I had to deal with all the shit you didn't have to deal with, when I actually went and participated in the scouring, where I told our brothers and our nephews and sons and all that shit of the fucking Chaos Marines, when I told them to go fuck themselves, where the fuck were you going? Sitting your fat ass down saying,
I'm in charge! I'm in charge because I say so. I say so. I got a new book you all have to follow because I'm Gulliman.
that was you, you fucking bastard. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Fuck you, Gilliman, or Girlyman, as you so rightfully are, nomenclated by the community. Fuck you! And moving on. Built up aggression against that character. I do love to hate him, though. I wouldn't change his writing for anything in the world. Fuck that. No. I want to hate him. What I hate is when GW tries to make him out as a hero. No. Make him the bastard he's always been in the lore. Please. Make him that asshole. Anyway, back to the Black Templars. So during the first founding, when, Gilliman basically bitch-slapped Rogal for some reason took it, and ended up having to divide his legion into chapters. Obviously, he had the Imperial Fist, which was going to keep the nomenclature / name of the founding legion, the Imperial Fists. And the two that I know off the top of my head for sure that were in the second founding were the Crimson Fists and the Black Templars. In the Black Templars, they were kind of the... I guess the meme I would use is the redheaded stepchild. They were the troublemakers. They were the Dennis the Menaces of the Imperial Fists. They were the guys who went against the grain. They were more stubborn than the average and more aggressive than the average Imperial Fists. So again, it was a chapter made up of all of what Dorn would consider the troublemakers of his own legion. And they were headed by, in Dorn's eye at that point in time, the biggest troublemaker. Ironically, his right-hand man for the longest time. The first captain, I believe is the title, of the Imperial Fist Legion, Sigismund, and also the Emperor's champion, is now at the head of the Misfits of the Imperial Fist. Why is this guy the head of the Misfits? Well, you would immediately assume, because Dorn trusts Sigismund so much to be able to handle this responsibility and to lead this chapter. No, it's because Dorn still, thought he was a misfit too. The biggest misfit leading the misfits. Perfect logic. So the reason Dorn thought that is, like a quick summary would be that in the case of Sigismund, Sigismund basically went against Dorn's wishes and also basically he deceived him, but not in a malicious way. Sigismund was given a prophecy of the future by some kind of seer, I don't know, I think it was a woman, and she told him, basically, stick by Dorn's side no matter what, don't leave his side, he needs you, and here's this prophecy of doom, essentially. What other kind of prophecy is in 40k? Oh, there's a prophecy of unicorns and rainbows across the corner. No, it's doom, destruction, death, hell. That is the universe we're talking about here. So anyway, Sigismund was given this prophecy. He took it legitimately and seriously. He actually subscribed to basically more faithful beliefs. Kind of subtly at that point, but not like full on. Most Astartes weren't really religious, but this was kind of like that first inkling of it that was introduced into an Astartes identity for Sigismund. So Sigismund stuck by Dorn, and Dorn even at one point ordered him to participate in a specific battle or event, and Sigismund actually refused and said, I must stay by your side. Now, Dorn could have pushed the issue and forced him to go and command this, whatever this battle was. Can't remember off the top of my head. But this is where this intrinsic trust Dorn had for Sigismund was, that he trusted him so much that he even though Sigismund wasn't clear with his reasons, he felt that he could trust him and that he had to have some kind of reason. So instead of probing him about like why he won't follow these orders, he just simply accepted it under the understanding that this is a man that he trusts to be his second in command. So of course he has to have his reasons. So I'll let it go. But then later on, Sigismund, I can't remember if Sigismund came clean or if Dorn just found out somehow. I subscribe to the belief that Sigismund was the type of man to come clean about something like this, so I'll just go with that. So Sigismund came clean about the fact that the reason he stuck by Dorn's side was because of this, pseudo prophecy he was given by this random lady. And Dorn, who was already in a pretty fucking bad mood at that point, because this was after the Scouring, and when Guilliman basically gave the FU to the entirety of the legions of Astartes. And yeah, when that happened, Dorn was already in a bad fucking mood, so when his right-hand man told him, hey, the whole reason I was glued to your ass during the Horus Heresy was because some random witch lady gave me a prophecy that I chose to believe. This will go over well. So, as you can imagine, Dorn, already in a bad mood, added that to the list. He basically lost all trust and respect for Sigismund in that moment, and considered him the biggest fucking misfit of the entirety of the what would be the Black Templars, and put his ass in the chapter master position, also later to be renamed to High Marshal. But that's a cultural thing the Black Templars introduced to themselves, so I won't get into that right this second. So Sigismund became the chapter master / High Marshal of the Black Templars. And earlier I mentioned that Sigismund was the Emperor's champion. That's because during the Siege of Terra, he was basically cladded with like the best fucking shit. And the Emperor basically said, you are like the warrior dude. And, he led fucking fighting and siege. It's a lot of cool ass shit, but I'd be here all day if I was describing it in detail. So Sigismund, suffice to say, is a badass motherfucker, okay? This guy is so badass, especially he was always noted to be rather brash of an individual, rather hard-headed, even before he became the High Marshal of the Black Templars. So it wasn't much of a surprise that kind of personality very much infected that of the identity of the Black Templars. They are likewise, as sons of Dorn and as sons of Sigismund. I say sons of Sigismund, but it's more like he was their mentor anyway. He was the mentor of what the Black Templars would become. So the Black Templars very much inherited a lot of that brash, thick-headedness, as well as Dorn's stubbornness. So you have those two combination going at it like fucking fine wine. And another thing is the Black Templars are so different from the Imperial Fists. The Imperial Fists were known as masters of the siege. These guys are the guys you want to hold position and to not easily be run over by an enemy. These guys are masters of fortifications, shielding, defensive positions, holding their ground. And that does not mean they're weak at fighting themselves. No, when you're a master of siegecraft, you likewise know how to siege others. And I think that aspect of the Imperial Fist was mostly what the Black Templars took away from their founding legion. Is they are, unlike their founding chapter / legion, they are masters of assault. Black Templars, when it comes to melee, it's been described that the only thing that can match a Black Templar in melee combat is a Space Wolf or a Blood Angel in the midst of a Blood Rage. Think about that. That's how badass these motherfuckers are on average. They got bolters, they got guns, but it's all about that melee, bitch. Let's slice and dice up a heretic. Woo! Let's purge. Oh man, I could go on for hours. It's just fun just describing this, even though I'm all off the cuff and everything. It's just like a million and one things running in my head. I'm like, I want to describe this, I want to describe this, I want to describe this, but I also want to make this manageable. Oh my god. So let's move on from lore, because again, we'd be here a very long time. One last thing about lore I will mention is Sigismund's death. Sigismund did die later on, I believe, to Abaddon the Despoiler. Names might be mixed up in my head. The point is, he did die to chaos, and His last words are pretty fucking badass, I'm not gonna lie. Trying to remember it off the top of my head, though. Alright, so I had to look it up because I don't want to misquote this. This is one of those quotes you just want to get right in honor of Sigismund. So, as he was facing down Abaddon, this is his final words as he's bleeding out. This is Sigismund's badass final moments. These are the last words he's able to choke out through the blood in his throat. This is Sigismund's last words.
You will die as your weakling father died, soulless, honorless, weeping, ashamed.
And then he died. Like, his last words were fucking badass as hell, man. And honestly, Sigismund is really who you should look at if you want to know, like, the embodiment of who the Black Templars are. These are warriors in the purest sense. They just love fighting up close and personal. It's beautiful. Now, one thing to note about their culture that's very different, again, that really switches up from chapter to chapter, is unlike most Astartes. In fact, I would say, I don't know another one off the top of my head that is as religious as the Black Templars, but the Black Templars, unlike most of the other Adeptus Astartes, believe the Emperor was a god. They believe he was the god of mankind. They are truly religious, and they follow the imperial cult's religious showcasing of the Emperor. I believe that the catalyst for this was Sigismund's own chink in his stalwart armor when it came to his inkling to belief in prophecy. Because Sigismund believed in that, I believe it just bled into the Black Templars' identity, and eventually it blew up to a full-blown religion within the chapter. They believe 100% that the Emperor is a god, and that's who they fight for. They pray to the God Emperor every single day. They pray before a fight, they pray after a fight, and they pray during the fight in the back of their head while they're slicing up fucking Xenos. Again, the Crusader memes with this chapter are out the fucking window, okay? There's just so many of them, and it's beautiful. Another thing to note is when it comes to Codex compliance. Keep in mind, this is a chapter made up of the misfits of Rogel Dorn's Legion. These are the guys that Dorn was sure for a fact that wouldn't follow the Codex. These guys, therefore, don't follow the Codex. They consider the Codex, at best, toilet paper. At worst, I don't know what's worse. They really don't like it, though. The Black Templars generally, like I said, don't follow the Codex. They don't follow it in any sense. Not even the rule of only 1,000 Space Marines per chapter. They don't follow that at all. There are way more, well, possibly, way more than 1,000 Astartes amongst their ranks. And there are ways that the Black Templars do work around this. It's not like they're in full-blown rebellion to the Imperium. They still serve the Imperium because the Imperium was a part of what the Emperor wanted to build. And they still want to fight for it because it was the Emperor's creation. They see it as this is their holy right to fight for it. And also they believe that the Great Crusade that the Emperor started never really ended. They're still crusading. That comes back around to like how they're able to get around the Codex. Is they live on crusading fleets. They don't have a fortress monastery or a homeworld that they strictly stick to. And because of that, the Inquisition can't exactly nail down where they are. And because they're in different crusading fleets, they're also in different areas of space altogether. So even if you were able to catch up to one of their fleets, you have no idea if that's representative of the whole chapter or if this is just a chunk of them. So because they're so divided, you might come up to one fleet, they might have 1,000 Astartes perfectly. And you're like, wait, aren't there more fleets of you out there? And they'd be like, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? Or if you do come up to one of their fleets and there's more than 1,000, they'd be like, we only have 1,000 battle brothers. You see, these other 500 warriors are not battle brothers, they are neophytes. They are still in training. They just happen to have all of the genetic changes they need. Like, totally. Well, most of the time, to be frank, the Black Templars would probably just escort the Inquisitor who's getting a little nosy to the nearest airlock that doesn't happen to have a ship connected to it. So yeah, the Black Templars, again, they're full on breaking the Codex in every way, shape, or form. They have way more than 1,000 Astartes. They don't follow any of the Codex's outlined battle tactics. When it comes to how they even recruit new Space Marines, they have their own entire culture and method of recruiting new Space Marines, which I won't get into because that'll be an hour long in itself to describe. In short, basically, they recruit, the basics of it is they recruit from whatever world they happen to be crusading on. They fight Chaos, they fight Xenos, they don't really have a preference. If it's against if it's against the Imperium in any way, if you're a Xeno, if you're a fucking filthy heretic, if you're pure, full-blown Chaos, they're fucking gonna kill you, left and right. They will destroy you, and they have very much a scorched earth policy, similar to the Grey Knights, although the Grey Knights, the way they look at it is a little different. But the Black templars are very much non-forgiving. If you have a slight chance of surviving with an Ultramarine, if something's going on in your planet, heresy-wise, you might have a chance of arguing saying, I'm not Chaos Corrupted, and only these people are, save us! You might have a chance with Ultramarines or some other chapter, definitely with Salamanders. But with Black Templars, you wouldn't even get the words out. You would just have a sword the size of your torso in your torso. So, goodbye, man. So yeah, but on the world that they siege on, if they find loyal citizens who, they don't need to be like the most loyal, period. They just find young, living people who would volunteer to become Astartes, and they recruit them. And they immediately get started on the neophyte process, and how they handle the training process is pretty interesting. They basically select, it's like a mentor program. They grab a couple of neophytes, basically hand them to a handler, which is a full-blown battle brother, and they literally just follow him around and fight with him. Okay, so to end off on their aesthetic, with the Black Templars, they're a little bit, this is another part of them that's very different from most chapters, is they don't wear, or they're not supposed to wear, the Imperial Aquila, which is that eagle, the two-headed eagle, one with an eye, one without. They don't wear that because, as they've said themselves, they don't wear the Emperor's symbol, they are his symbol. So instead, they wear a tabard over their armor with their chapter symbol, which is I don't know the specific name of that kind of cross. I'll put it up on screen if I remember. But they wear a cross on their tabards and on their armor, and typically they'll put it on their purity seals. They have a lot, again, the Templar aesthetic with the tabard and again, crusading memes work too well with these guys. So that's pretty unique along with the jet black armor with white trims or white pauldrons. That is typically what they wear. Other than that, I think some of them have red trim. I'm trying to remember if there's a specific group with red trim. I can't off the top of my head. I know there are quite a few of them that wear red in some way, shape, or form as well, but I can't remember if there's a specific reason. It's escaping my brain if I do know it, so I apologize. But all in all, I think I've gone through all the basics I want to get through the Black Templars. In terms of where they are in the current lore, they're all over the place. You'll find Black Templars pretty much crusading wherever there's heresy, where they're probably the most prolific chapter when it comes to kill count, when it comes to how many battles and campaigns they're involved in at a time. Even in terms of accomplishments, they have quite the number under their belt. First comes to mind is Hell's Reach, and who doesn't know about Hell's Reach? Even brand new fans of 40k. One of the first things you probably hear about is Hell's Reach, and that chapter that was involved in that was Black Templars. They're the most prolific chapter when it comes to fighting the enemies of the Imperium, and they're all over the fucking place. Which is why it kind of annoys me that we see Ultramarines and Blood Angels and Space Wolves even, who get a lot more screen time or a lot more highlights to them than the Black Templars do. Don't get me wrong, the community loves Black Templars a ton, but it seems like Games Workshop themselves they're kind of like an 8th or 9th thought when it comes to chapters to update or give any kind of focus on. But the community seems to love them a lot on average. A lot of the community, including myself, love the Black Templars because they're so unique amongst all the chapters that it's really hard not to love them simply from an aesthetic standpoint, simply from the memes aspect, and their lore is fucking awesome. So, generally speaking, what's not to love about Black Templars? But anyway, I could ramble again for so much longer. I really could. But I don't want to make this video like 4 or 5 hours. So I think I'll wrap it up there before I get into another tirade about certain details. Well, there is one last thing I want to end off on, is Primaris. It doesn't make sense, and I know it feels weird to have to tell GW this, but it doesn't make sense for the Black Templars to be okay with Primaris. They were created by Guilliman and a fucking Adeptus Mechanicus arch, whatever the fuck he's called. Call. They weren't made by the Emperor. They would 100% see Primaris as fucking heresy. They would kill them on sight. So the fact that GW wrote it off as, 97% of the chapters accepted them, and that includes all the Dorn ones. Do I need to tell you your own lore? Seriously? Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Asmogan. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you a damn dime to subscribe. And if you want to support me, there's a bunch of ways to do it. One is just watch all my videos. Check them out, watch them, enjoy, have a good time. If you want to support me more directly, I do have a Patreon. That'll be linked in the description. If you want to follow me on Instagram to see me show off and showcase my painted miniatures or my other hobby stuff, I'll take an occasional photo, put it up on Instagram and share around what I'm doing and what I'm up to. I do have a Twitter, but I'm not on there very often, so keep in mind if you follow over there, you won't get a lot of updates, you won't get a lot of posts. But Instagram, I'm a little bit more active over there. I'm most active here on YouTube. I constantly post in the community tab. I'm constantly uploading new videos, so I would love to have you guys come down. I have a schedule set that with an actual template and everything. Well, what I upload day to day. That'll be in the community tab. You might need to scroll down a little bit, but it is in there. I recommend you guys check that out. And if you're curious what's coming out next and on what day. Well, in terms of videos, this Thursday is going to be the second episode of the Painting Thursdays, where I just put up a poll to see what people want. So if for anyone watching who wants to participate in that poll, go vote now in the community tab. It should be the first post you see, asking just which of these orc models you want me to paint. And yeah, that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Asmogan. See you guys later. Bye-bye! And for the Imperium, my brothers.